We will be reading a paragraph. You will determine which vocabulary words are missing and write them on the lines. Turn to page 34 in your student books. I will read the text aloud, pausing at the blanks for you to write. You will fill in the blanks with the words from the word bank. I will reread the text as you say out loud the correct word for each blank. You will correct your errors. Let's begin. Bats are the only mammals with wings. Skin blanks their hands to their feet to make the wings. Many people think that bats are blind, but they actually have good blank. Bats fly at night, so it is difficult to see. Bats find their way in the dark using blank. Bats live under bridges, in trees, and in caves. Many bats live together in bat blank. Humans often fear bats because of blank. This causes them to blank with bat homes and disrupt their lives. Bats are in blank, and many humans do not care. This blank will eventually cause problems with our ecosystem. I'm going to give you a minute to fill in any blanks that you have not already filled in. Now I'm going to reread the text and you will call out the word that you filled in for each blank. Bats are the only mammals with wings. Skin connects their hands to their feet to make the wings. Many people think that bats are blind, but they actually have good vision. Bats fly at night, so it is difficult to see. Bats find their way in the dark using sonar. Bats live under bridges, in trees, and in caves. Many bats live together in a bat colony. Humans often fear bats because of ignorance. This causes them to interfere with bat homes and disrupt their lives. Bats are in danger, and many humans do not care. This negligence will eventually cause problems with our ecosystem. So give you a couple of seconds to correct any errors before we move on. Let's review what we have learned about grammar in this unit. What is a noun? What is a verb? I want you to turn to page 35 in your student books. We will be looking for nouns and verbs in sentences. As we read the sentences at the bottom of page 35, you will underline the nouns and circle the verbs. At the end of each sentence, ask, what words name things? What words portray actions? There may be more than one noun or verb in a sentence. So you're going to underline the nouns and circle the verbs. Let's look at the first sentence. Bats save plants from bugs. What are the nouns or naming words in this sentence? What is the verb in this sentence? So bats, plants, and bugs are our nouns that we're going to underline, and save is our verb. Let's look at the second sentence. Bats have fur and wings. What are the nouns in that sentence? What is the verb in that sentence? Bats, fur, and wings are our nouns that we're going to underline, and have is our verb that we're going to circle. Let's look at number 3. Humans destroy their homes. What are the nouns in that sentence? What is the verb in that sentence? The nouns are humans and homes, and we're going to underline those, and we're going to circle destroy since it is our verb. Let's look at the fourth sentence. Bats have sharp claws. What are the nouns in that sentence? What is the verb in that sentence? Bats and claws are our nouns, and we're going to underline those, and we're going to circle have since it is our verb. Now the rest of the bottom of the page you're going to do on your own, and I'm going to read the sentence, and you're going to underline the nouns and circle the verbs. People use harsh chemicals. Bats help plants grow. Bats have an oddly shaped nose. People interfere with bat colonies. Scientists teach about bats. Bats scatter seeds. Scientists count bat colonies. Bats have teeth like rats. Humans hurt bats. Bats help farmers. Scientists help bats. Bats are strange. Scientists study bats. Let's review identifying the main idea by playing a game. I want you to look at page 35 in your student books. I will ask you to play a quick game with your partner to practice identifying main idea and details. You are going to read the sentence strips from Batty About Bats with your partner. You will determine which sentences are the main ideas. You will write the main idea sentences in the left column. In other words, the green column, as we've been highlighting the main idea in green, and you're going to put them in the order in which they occur in the passage. Then you will sort the details for each main idea in the right column. Before we began reading Batty About Bats, we answered 2 big idea questions. Let's look back at those on page 1. Look at your answers. Now that we have read the passage thoroughly and understand it, would you change your answers? Have you learned other ideas that support your answers? Let's discuss those 2 questions. How are bats useful to humans? And how are humans impacting bats? Authors have a purpose for writing and a point of view. An author's point of view is what the author thinks about a subject. What do you think the author of this passage thinks about bats? If that is the author's point of view, what do you think the author's purpose for writing the text was? Think for a minute. What did you think about bats before you read this passage? Has reading the passage changed your point of view about bats? We will finish this unit by combining our reading, writing, vocabulary, and grammar skills to form sentences. Turn to pages 36 and 37 in your student books. You are going to cut out the sentence strips on page 37. We will play tic-tac-toe. We have worked on building a good sentence with a noun and a verb. Now we will use that skill to play a game. You will build masterpiece sentences until you can earn 3 squares in a row. The sentences are based on text, pictures, and captions in Batty about bats. Do you remember how to create good sentences? All sentences have at least one noun and one verb. In a sentence, you will use a noun to answer the question, who or what did it? You will use a verb to answer the question, what did he, she, or it do? Each student has his or her own set of sentence strips from page 37. You will need to write your initials on each strip so you can tell whose strip it is. Each tic-tac-toe square has a subject. Ask yourself what you know about this subject. This will help you build sentences. Remember the key questions: who or what did it, and what did they or he, she, or it do? You will take turns creating a complete sentence with a naming part and a doing part. The sentence must make sense and be factually correct based on the text. You will place the sentence strips on the appropriate subject box. Place your sentence strips on the square and read the complete sentence. If your partner agrees with the sentence, you claim the square. The game continues until one student gets tic-tac-toe or until the entire board is played and the person with the most squares wins. Today, when you get into the software, you will notice that you have some content mastery activities to complete. You will have a noun and verbs one that counts as grammar. You will have a main idea and key details one that counts for reading. And you will have a power pass activity as well as a formative assessment activity. These need to be completed in Purple Tab before you work in Blue Tab today.